to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And we're all gonna die by 2021. At least that's the beliefs of me. And I'll gladly stand up and eat bone and wings for everyone in the world. And the song doesn't have to make sense. God bless the USA. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The first night after the presidential debates. Holy shit. Holy shit. That wasn't even a debate. It's already corny jokes about it all over the internet, so I don't want to go more into that. Was basically a kindergarten teacher handling two kids disputing over a toy truck, and that toy truck is America. Like, that's what's crazy, is what they were debating about is America, and they're acting like toddlers with a truck. No, here's the thing: you need to condemn the Proud Boys. You and your boys. Silent water drink. Taste the rainbow. Bars. Callback. That was the weirdest shit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the 80th episode, which is ironically the age of both of these candidates, pretty much. I don't like being an ageist. I keep going back to this because it's such a vital thing. These men are way too fucking old to be trying to lead the free world, you know? The greatest nation with the most powerful military in the world. These are the two people that are going to lead it. One of these two people. These are our candidates. These are our choices, the best people we could find for the job. Okay. If this isn't a wake-up call that we need to reboot the system, you remember how when your video game wasn't working as a kid, you pull the cartridge out, slide it, stick that Super Mario Brothers back in there, turn it on, and just hope for the best. That's what we got to do with our political system, because this shit, it ain't working, okay? We tried it. Maybe we should have someone like Putin, you know? Someone actually have law and order. Something. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but it isn't this. It isn't this. And obviously I'm joking. I don't want to live in a communist country. I like the freedoms of America. The idea of America is amazing. This is the land of the free, the home of the brave. You know, it is a social experiment across the world where you can come to this country and be whoever the fuck you want to be. You want to dress up as a cat and go shit in a litter box in a hotel at a furry convention? You can do it, okay? We have those luxuries ready for you. As an idea, America is the greatest thing there is, okay? You can look at our history and you could say, oh, wow, it's really interesting. You would call America the greatest thing that the world has when it used to have slaves. Yeah, no shit, there was a lot of bad stuff about our country, okay? There was terrible things in our past, but we're trying to get better, okay? We all make mistakes. And it's like, what are we going to do? Cancel America? Okay? You want to cancel America? That's like the thing, is that we're always trying to be better, okay? There's a lot of shit that I do in my life that I'm not good at and I am a failure at. But you know what? Keep moving. Keep moving forward, trying to get better. 1% every day, as they say, you know? And that's the whole thing, is we're trying. That's why I'm getting back on topic of pull to Biden, just losing my train of thought. America is a great country. In my opinion, I might be a little biased because I'm an American. I think it's the greatest country in the world, okay? I hear people talk, okay, from other countries, and it's probably Russian bots, but they're just like in comments, they're just like, just so you know, America, the whole world is laughing at you. The whole world is laughing at us. The whole fucking world wants to be us, okay? Hate us because you ain't us, all right? Okay, Canada, up there with your little 1.8 million population or whatever the fuck you have, y'all want to pretend you're better? You got fucking moose and shit just walking around doing whatever the fuck they want. Y'all don't have problems? Y'all got problems. Every country has problems. And you want to know why? I will say America has problems, and I think we're easily manipulated by the media. I think that's going to be a way that it gets used against us, that we are divided because of the media. And you know why I know that? The media likes painting this divisive picture. And when I talk to people, there's some people who are extremes and people who just have these crazy beliefs, but they're locked inside listening to NPR all day. They're locked inside listening to Fox News all day. They have these very one-sided views. But for the most part, the reason why I think America is more sensible than the media gives us credit for is because it felt like everybody watched the presidential debate and was like, what the fuck was that? Okay? And while that's really sad that these are our two possible candidates for leading the strongest military nation in the world, I see relief in the fact that everybody knows this is fucked up. I don't know anybody who watched that debate, or I haven't seen anybody post about watching that debate, and they were like, Trump really gave it to him. Pure class. No one watched that debate and was like, Biden, sharp as a marble. Sharp as a marble, or sharp as a tack. I literally just said what he was, sharp as a marble. God damn it, Evan. We are having the Biden effect, because you know what? I think it's karma. Karma for taking shots at Biden, so now I'm starting to have early set dementia. God damn it, I accept my life. I accept the path that I'm on, okay? But I'll sure as shit, once my dementia starts setting in, not going to see me running for president. Which gets me back to my point, ageism. Listen, I hope this isn't a video where I predicted I have dementia later on in life. And you go back and watch this and you're like, Evan knew in 25 years he could only eat applesauce. These guys are almost 80 years old. And I was watching the debates, and I remember watching videos of Biden when he first got into politics, when he was in his 30s. He might have been younger. No, I think he was in his 30s. And watching how fucking quick he was, it was shocking compared to where he's at now. And it's we're not giving enough credit to cognitive deterioration. It's a real thing, all right? It seems like when you look at that perspective on what people used to be versus what they are now, it's insane to see the difference between where Joe Biden was mentally, where he's at now. And I feel bad for him. Overall, the debate, I thought it was a shit show, It was such a shit show. Imagine being their wives laying in bed after that. You have Trump, who clearly was probably like, I did great. Don't you think I did great, Melania? And then you have Biden in bed next to his wife being like, I'm pretty nervous for the first debate tomorrow night. Bars. I keep them things on deck. It was chaos. I knew it was going to. Listen, I was preparing for that as if it was a UFC fight night. I just knew there was going to be fireworks. I thought we would actually get somewhere, though. There's not really anything that came out of that. We didn't learn anything about what they want to do, where they want the country to go, how we're going to recover from these issues. Coronavirus. They were given chances to speak, and instead of saying what I want to do to fix this, they're like, this is what he's not going to do to fix this. And then they would just start arguing. And then there was one point, and it was a weird ass moment, and I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that this isn't what he was saying. But when Joe Biden is like, say it, denounce the Proud Boys, which I don't even know what the Proud Boys were. I've seen it on headlines, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck a Proud Boy is. And he goes, say it. And it's almost like when you're a little kid and someone's trying to get you to say Bloody Mary in the bathroom 3 times, and they're like, say it. And Trump's like, what do you want me to say? Who do you want me to say? And then they go, tell him to stand down. And instead of saying stand down, he goes, what did he say? Stand back and stand by. Ugh. I was watching, I was like, ugh, stand by? Do you mean stand by as in stand by and let what's happening happen? Or stand by like you're on standby? Okay, when shit hits the fan. it's kind of a weird thing. And it wasn't a good moment. I feel like that was a very odd moment in it where I was like, oh, they're going to run with this. This does not look good. And I know right before that he said, sure. When he said, do you denounce, will you denounce white supremacy? And he goes, sure. And then they were trying to get him to denounce the Proud Boys right there. And he like wouldn't do it. And like Biden was just like, say it. So weird. So many weird moments. I thought it was a low blow. A low blow when he went after Hunter Biden. Did not know that his son had a cocaine problem. Okay, that was brought to the light. Granted, I don't look up the siblings and kids and everything of public figures. I feel like that's just their life, let them be out of it. But if you bring them into it, and I didn't know that all the stuff, you kind of go down the rabbit hole of Hunter Biden, and it's like, oh, there's a lot of weird shit here. And obviously, the Trump kids are up for, I feel like if you choose a life in the public, you're free game. You're free game. It's not like you're bringing in people's kids who are just in the shadows or someone's wife. But I feel like that was a win for Trump. That little jab he threw at Hunter, because here's the thing. Biden brought up his own son, and he was trying to use it as a patriotic guilt moment where he thought he had Trump. He put down the card like a Uno, and Trump hit him with that reverse card. He did straight up. And listen, I'm not biased in this situation, okay? I think they're both pieces of shit, straight up. Just from a fighting breakdown standpoint, I saw what Biden was trying to do. And he says, my son served in Iraq for a year, and he was trying to use it as a powerful moment to be like, don't you say they're losers and blah, blah, blah. And Trump's just like, oh yeah, what son are we talking about? And he goes, and Biden knew at that moment. He was like, fuck. And then he goes, Bo. And he goes, oh, okay. Because Hunter got dishonorably just discharged. And Biden was like, no, he didn't. And a quick Google search, I guess he got kicked out of the military because he failed a cocaine test. He literally slipped the jab and came up with an uppercut. That's how I looked at that moment, which is crazy. But he technically, I don't think he was dishonorably discharged. I think he was let out of the Navy. And that's the thing. That's when you play these political games. Listen, if a regular person is dishonorably discharged, or a regular person fails a cocaine test, dishonorably discharged. But I think since Biden is who he is and a lifelong politician, they're like, we can't just dishonorably discharge Joe Biden's son, which is crazy. It shows you so much. And that's the thing is, like, I thought Biden had a great one. Is there's been this whole thing from the right side with if the Democrats take over, there's going to be chaos, and it's going to leave these cities and it's going to move into the suburbs and everything like that. And Biden was like, bitch, what do you know about the suburbs? You've never been in the suburbs. And you're like, oh shit, that's right. Trump's a fucking trust fund baby. He's a fucking trust fund baby. And Trump had no rebuttal. So I give that one a clear win for Biden. It was a great snapback. Listen, I thought the first few minutes Biden was starting to fumble. I almost had to turn it off because I was like, oh no, he's stuttering already. He's fumbling. But he was sharp. He was sharp for 90 minutes. I thought he stayed okay. He had some moments of, messing up his words, had a couple strokes like I always do on this podcast, but it wasn't enough for Trump to attack it. And I was wondering, listen, this is what I would have done. If I was Trump, there's a couple different attacks you could have taken. This is purely just from a fighting standpoint of winning the debate. You could have either, whenever he fumbled on a word, tried to get him, be like, Biden, are you okay? Are you having issues? And blah, blah, blah. Trying to pick at that thread to put in his head, I'm starting to fumble. It's entry level rope-a-dope. It's showboating. It's entry level, trying to get them off their game. A lot of times in fighting, here's a little insight. A lot of times in fighting, you don't necessarily want to beat someone at their game. You want to drag them into your strengths. You want to take their tools away from them. And part of that is distracting them and getting them off of their game. Someone has a great jab. Someone's always doing this, and they're so hyper-focused on it, and they're dialed in. You got to get that focus away. You got to get them second-guessing and throwing out a lot of fakes, a lot of feints and everything, moving around, boom, boom, different unorthodox looks. You got to get them paralyzed, okay, where they just don't feel like they can get back in there and everything. They don't know what's going to happen, and they're fumbling, they're stuttering, and then they're frozen. Trump didn't necessarily do that. That could have been one way to do it. I think also on the other side, what Trump should have done, this is where he fucked up, is he should have just let Biden talk. The whole thing was just looking from the outside. When Biden would fumble and have all these issues with his where his thoughts were at and his thinking, it was in moments where news reporters were quiet and letting him speak, and just he would start be thinking like this, and he would be talking about then squirrel, and then he would be like, yeah, I'm in love with my sister, and this is my wife Jill. No, that's not Jill. It's in these moments where he doesn't have any input. Okay, listen, because at the end of the day, this man has been in politics for 47 years. 47 years. He's an old seasoned vet, all right? He's a salty dog. When he gets into a debate, dude, this is why politics are gross and toxic, because it's constant tension and animosity and just this, he knows what to do in those moments, okay? He doesn't back down. He's very confrontational. So when Trump kept going at him and was so irate and just so mad, too much, Biden was able to stay focused and anchored to that frustration, and he was able to give it right back. And even if he was starting to be like, well, you don't know. Listen, Trump was doing the same exact thing. Trump, you dumb down to your opponent, and I would have liked to see Biden. He shouldn't have engaged in those moments. He started arguing back and everything, and there is the idea that that's why Clinton lost, was because she said, when they go low, we go high. She tried very hard to stay presidential. And Biden kind of had to engage with that so he didn't get steamrolled. He didn't allow Trump to talk. And sometimes that's how you deal with a bully, is you have to let them know. You don't let them play their game. If you're going to interrupt, I'm going to interrupt. And if you're going to be this way and you're going to say these things, well, I can play those games too. So just talking about, and this is a fight breakdown, my analysis is going to change, okay? I think it wasn't terrible for Biden in those moments. It might not have been a bad plan to keep engaging. I think it was Trump's, I was very interested in this debate because I wanted to hear them talk about policies, which we didn't talk about them at all. But I wanted to see how Joe Biden could handle that moment, And I think he did better than I gave him credit for. He stuck with it most of the time, and it was just interesting. It was very interesting. And obviously, listen, I have to say, I'm not really a political person in the sense of, I know I talk about it so much now because that's all there's fucking going on right now. We literally are dealing with a pandemic, and the future of our country is uncertain. Listen, people were asking me, listen, it's funny, I usually stay out of politics, and I usually don't really post anything about it on social media. I talk about it on the podcast because I consider the podcast different. If you're coming to the podcast and you're listening, this isn't social media. This is a platform that, for some reason or another, I either am just a silly goose and you enjoy hearing me talk about bullshit. Maybe you fast forward when I talk about politics. I don't give a shit. Hurts me a little bit. Why don't you want to hear me talk about politics? Oh, is it because I don't really know what I'm talking about? That could be it. That's why I don't really get into the actual intrinsic shit of politics, because I don't know what actually works. I just look at ideas from afar and go, I don't know if this, I just talk shit. It's just wild. It's just wild. And that's the thing, is this is all that's going on right now. And it's a crazy social, I think that's what naturally why I talk about politics and everything right now. Because I know there's so many people that come here for an escape from politics. Did I have people message me that, blah, 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 this podcast episode made me laugh and made me not think about how our world's on fire? Not this one. Not this one. World's on fire. But it's important to talk about, and while I say that the future of our country is uncertain, it could be. Listen, we're a young country. We're a social experiment. And every great empire has fallen, okay? But we could also change and adapt. And I think there's going to be some turmoil. Think about any big choices you made in your life. How hard was it? How much friction, tension, everything, pain from growing, from changing. And I feel like that's where we are at as a country. I think we're getting to a point, and that's why I look at people's reaction to this debate, and there's not a lot of people that I see. And granted, it's my own meandering experience, my own personal life of what I see outside my window on social media and shit. I don't see anybody being like, yo, Biden really gave it to him, or Trump really gave it to him. Like, we all kind of agree this is silly. And if coronavirus has taught us anything, is that politicians really don't give two shits about the people. They're self-serving, when in reality politicians were supposed to be serving the people. And I think in a lot of ways this is going to be the first time that people are actually fed up with it, and people want real change, where we have change to the whole entire political system. I don't think it works like this anymore. I don't think this old guard of lifelong politicians, that they control the party so much that only politicians that play the games can make it to the top. And I think I talked about this in the last episode, about how Trump is actually an inspiration in the sense of someone from the outside the system can make it in. They can become the president. And that's what we desperately need, is some third party, a younger candidate with ideas and real policies that can change everything going on. When you're seeing things like JP Morgan getting bailed out for all this fraudulent shit, and they have to pay, this just came out this week, they have to now pay a $925 million fine, a drop in the bucket for them. And they're out here doing blatantly criminal shit. But no one's focused on that. It's like we have to change the entire system. I think we have to change the way campaigns are, where you can't, I don't know. I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole anymore. I'm just talking the same shit over and over again. But I would like to see a different kind of setting with the presidential campaign. And I'm just spitballing. But I think that we should bring in Bop It. We need to test these people's cognitive ability. If you can't make it up to 10 and Bop It, probably shouldn't be leading the free world, Maybe give them a gigapet. Make them take care of it for a week. We come back a week later, see if that little shit's still alive, Even a physical test, like a Ninja Warrior experience, I think that would be great. I'd love to see presidents go after that. Some kind of, fitness test. We got to see what you're working with. It's the same thing. Like, that's why you date people, and that's why you don't just go on a date and talk. That's why I think great dates are like when you go hiking, you go do certain things, you force them to use slow internet, you do all these different things to see how they handle these situations. Give Joe Biden a Bop It. See what happens. He'll be messing with that thing and just be like, bop it, twist it, burn it. Will you shut up, man? And just throw it. And it's going to be like, bop it. And Trump's going to be like, I don't want to bop it. What if I don't want to bop it? Listen, I've never bopped it in my life. You can just walk up to them and bop it, you know? That's what you can do when you're famous. But that's so true about dating. You ever had that where you really like someone and then you like get in the pool with them and then you watch them like half drown swimming and you're like, yeah, this isn't going to work anymore. That was always a big thing for me, is because I grew up swimming. Fucking fish, okay? I'm like a fucking fish in water. You put me in water, fish, gone. People started throwing their fishing poles and line and tackle into the pool because they think I'm a fish. They think I'm a fish. But I'd be hanging out with a girl or something. We'd go in the pool and she starts drown swimming. You ever seen that where they're like hair all in the face? And I'm like, they finally get to the fucking land and outside the pool and they look up and I'm gone. I'm gone. I can't put up with that. I can't put up with you drowning like that. It's not okay. Okay? Yeah, that was a deal breaker. What else is a deal breaker with dating? This is going to come off sexist. You got to be able to cook. I love to cook. I love to cook. I love it. I cook a lot of dinners, cook a lot of meals. But there's something weird when someone just can't cook. It's weird. And listen, this is also across the board. This isn't even dating. When guys can't cook either. When I hear about people fucking, they can just make rice-a-roni, I'm just like, ugh, you fucking, you know what it is? It's not being independent. You can't take care of yourself. That's what I think of when people can't cook. You got to learn how to cook something. And listen, for the men listeners out there, and listen, I look at my demographic. I got a pretty balanced number of listeners. I got some females. I got some males. I don't know why the women's are listening. I don't know why you women's are listening. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah, it comes down to being able to take care of yourself. And men, this is a pro tip. If you like a girl and you're trying, you know, she might be the one and you're trying to make that shit serious. You're trying to go steady. Get some of that spaghetti, you know what I'm saying? Meatballs. Bars. You got to learn how to cook. Invite her over. Make her some real food, okay? And I'm not talking burgers, something like that. Although, that's a great move. If you're going to make burgers for a girl, you got to make the patties yourself. I get in the kitchen. My girl loves it. I get in the kitchen. I get that grass-fed ground beef. I lay that all out there. I get my hands on it, start mushing it. ASMR bars. Add a little garlic. Add some pepper. Add some rosemary. Add a little basil. That's a secret. Add a little cayenne pepper, maybe some red pepper flakes. Start putting some raw eggs and I mix it up. I'm pressing them patties myself, okay? Let them rest in the fridge. Plop them on the Traeger. I slice those tomatoes real thin. Get some nice romaine lettuce to lay on top. Bars. Slice up some pickles. Put them across. Bars. I have an assortment of dipping sauces. I got blue cheese. I got ranch. I got Thousand Island. I got mayo. I got ketchup. I got whatever you want to lather that bun with. And guess what? I'm also toasting that bun. I'm toasting that bun for you. I'm putting that on the Traeger for a few minutes while the burgers rest. And then what else is this? I'm slicing up potatoes. I'm making the fries by scratch. From scratch. Asterisk. Bars. You got to do it. But if you really want to impress someone, you know, grilling is cool and everything. You can make them a nice steak. You got to make what you enjoy and what you like to eat. Because that's also the plus of it. Is if you're a cultured fellow like me, you got them Puerto Rican roots. You make a woman Puerto Rican food. You got a woman for life. Okay? My girl watches TV draped in a Puerto Rican blanket. That's how much she's indulged herself in the culture. And that's from me. I injected Puerto Rican culture into her. That is so ridiculous. But man, you gotta learn how to cook. You gotta learn how to cook. You really do. I don't know if I have anybody under 18 listening. I know I got some 19-year-olds. I see the demographic numbers, okay? You're like, I'm worse than the government with knowing who's listening. But you have to. Even in college, it's important, okay? It's a great skill to have, and that's where you should be adventuring, you know? You live at home with your parents, make some food for them. Okay, you got to start flexing that muscle. And I actually like it. I like cooking. I like doing a lot of different things, because I notice I get better at other things when I learn new things. Right now, your boy's been learning how to do live streaming. Why? Your boy's going to do some live streaming of Xbox and also start doing more live streaming stuff with the podcast. And when I start learning about these other things that I have no knowledge in, I start learning little things that I can apply to my life. I'm very philosophical like that, and that's what you got to do. So if you're a guy stuck in the fucking, I almost said the Holocaust. We're definitely not in the Holocaust right now. You got to learn how to cook. Try it out, man. Try it out. What's an easy thing? Chicken. Make some chicken. Start making chicken. Slice up some potatoes into little cubes. Put them in the oven. Put a little rosemary on them. A little bit of pepper. A little bit of salt. Olive oil on the bottom of the pan. Or the tray. Whatever it is. The cooking pan. You'll be good, baby. You'll be good. This just turned into political debate talks and fucking Martha Stewart. That's who I am now. I'm the men's Martha Stewart. And you best believe I'm going to be putting out more cooking videos. That's something I'm very passionate about, cooking. I love it. It just makes my willy tingle. Making a good meal. One of my favorite things I love to do, because I'm financially responsible, I love making food and then comparing how much it would have cost if I went to a restaurant to get it. That's why when I go to like a restaurant, if they have like ribeye and like veggies and potatoes, I look at how much it costs and it makes my willy tingle. Because I'm like, oh, I just bought ribeye on sale for $6.99, $7.99 a pound. I got those taters. Cost me probably an 8-ounce cut. Cost me like $5, $6 to make that meal. This restaurant wants to charge me $30. Willy tingle bars. Incredible. It feels incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Feels incredible, and so should you, because you know what? While the world is on fire and our country might end, you still got today, baby. You still got tomorrow. If there's never been a time in your life to take chances and do what the fuck you want to do, it's now. All right? The time is now. Why? Tomorrow's not promised. Tomorrow's not promised. So you got to live like you were dying, because we are. We're probably going to end up speaking Chinese and Russian, and any of us survivors. Okay? I say Russia. They got more nukes. Not more nukes than us, but in general, I think, than China. And here's the thing. We go to war with China. Our people are fighting because they want to, because they believe in the country. China's a communist country. They're fighting because they have to. You ever got in a fight with someone who wanted to win? Who deep down they were dealing with some darker shit? That's a hard person to beat. Someone who has a reason, a why, for why they're on that battlefield. They believe in what they're doing. And that's what you gotta do, baby. Every day. People ask me. People don't ask me every day. That was me finishing that, and then now I'm going to a different part. Evan, how do you do so much shit? How do you do so much different shit? I have a why for what I'm doing. I have reasons why I work so hard. I have goals that I'm trying to attain. And I try to remind myself of them as much as I can. Because if I don't, I'll lose focus. And I'll be like, ugh, I don't really feel like working today. I feel like doing this. I don't know why. I'm just not motivated. Whenever you're not feeling motivated, you got to go to where you've written it down. Maybe it's your 1-year plan, your 5-year plan. What kind of life you want to end up with. And remind yourself why you're working. I got a 3-year plan to build a house. Okay? What does that do? It makes me save money. Start looking at ways to actually make it happen. And that's the truth. You just got to find goals. You got to set them and then figure out how to fill in the blanks. That's the best thing I can do, is fill in the blanks. But you have to figure out what you want, what you're going after. Maybe you're younger. Maybe you're still trying to find that thing. Listen, your boy was lost for years. Didn't know exactly what I wanted to do what I wanted out of life. What was this? And I was kind of just going through the motions and trying to figure it out and try all these different things. And that's the key. Just got to try a bunch of shit. See what you enjoy doing and do that as much as possible. But you got to look for it. You got to try. It's not going to find you, okay? Get out of your comfort zone as much as possible, okay? And you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You just got to take chances. That's all it is. This turned into a little Tony Robbins at the end there, okay? Presidential debates, Martha Stewart and Tony Robbins, oh my. And no matter what, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great fucking rest of the week. You have a great weekend. And remember, no matter much. Dude, I've had so many strokes this time. I think it's because I'm tired. Didn't sleep well last night. My dog hacking up shit in the middle of the night. Just repeatedly for like 30 minutes in the middle of the night. I had to call that bitch over to the side of my bed, and I had to give her water out of my hand from my cup because she wouldn't drink it straight from the cup. She's had something stuck in her throat. Then she went to bed. But I had so many strokes this podcast. But remember, no matter what, I still love you, baby.